And then the West Boston Bridge, which came shortly after, was a much longer bridge,
Right.
and I think probably was the longest bridge at the
Charlestown
time.
Bridge was about 1,500 feet in length, and this one was 3,500.
Ah,
Just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
This was this bridge sat on the site now occupied by the Longfellow Bridge, and again, it was a major engineering undertaking to construct this bridge. It dates from 1793, and you can see the draw there, that they had to provide with all of these wooden bridges at the center to allow the masted vessels to pass through.
And it would be a whole other story to talk about the monopolies and the rights and the fees associated with building those bridges.
Well,
but
they were privately financed ventures. The state would incorporate a private company to build a bridge with the understanding that the company could recoup its investment by charging tolls. They also would buy land in the vicinity of the ends of the bridges in expectation that they could profit from the sale of that land. The land would increase in value once the bridge was constructed.
Yeah, and there was the famous development with the Craigie Bridge. That's a whole
all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's look at the old Western Avenue Bridge, which then actually takes us into the early 20th century, but a very different bridge than the Western Avenue Bridge we have today. So that also was just a wooden structure.
Right, 1824.
1824, yeah. And the chimneys we see there, would that tell us what that would have been?
This is, I think, a photograph that was taken in the early 20th century. So those are industrial buildings in Cambridgeport.
I see. So that picture was taken in the early 20th century, but the bridge dates from the 19th century.
From a much earlier period.
Yeah, and here the drawbridge is up, stopping all activities when the boats go through. Now we have a picture of the Longfellow Bridge that you mentioned, which replaced the earlier wooden bridge, and it is a bridge that is undergoing restoration again. Tell us of how this bridge came about.
Well, this is a great landmark piece of city architecture. Edmund March Wheelwright was the architect. He did Horticultural Hall, and he was responsible for many other significant buildings in the city of Boston. One of the great municipal architects, and it's been suggested that he saw the prototype of this bridge in Europe, and I believe it was in Prague. It's a really handsome structure.
Beautiful, yeah.
And it's been allowed, unfortunately, to deteriorate quite a lot, but
it's going to be restored. Yes, with the salt and pepper structures on it. Yeah, and already here we see the trolley in the middle was already part of the idea behind it, and high up so that the boats could go underneath. That was much higher than any of the other structures.
Also, the design of the bridge was intended to suggest, and in a sense support the claim that Leif Erikson was on the Charles River. They're supposed to resemble the prow of Viking ships, which is kind of an interesting element as well.
Well, moving from the bridges, and we have only a few minutes left, so maybe we go and kind of get a sense of the filling of the back bay, the plan. So if you could just give us a taste, and then we will have to fairly soon conclude after that.
Well, the filling the back bay was a long process, and it really begins in 1821 with the construction of the Boston Roxbury Mill Dam, and a road was placed on the top of the mill dam, which corresponds to present-day Beacon
And we have a picture here of a horse carriage on the mill dam, running on the mill dam, and the water in the background, and then the city. So there was this connector.
Right. I don't know how much time we have left. Can I talk a little bit about the plan for the mill dam?
I think we have about maybe 20 seconds or so for you to talk about that.
The projectors of the mill dam project intended to turn this whole area into an industrial area.
Yeah.
They were hoping to harness the energy of the tides to run mills, and they projected as many as 80 mills. Well, it never came to pass, fortunately. Only 3 mills ever existed on the margin of the mill dam.
Yeah.
But it's going to become an industrial area. And
very different than what we see in the Back Bay in the middle of the 19th century, as we see in the next, it's probably going to be our last picture here, where we see this mill dam where you saw the horse and the Back Bay still, the water still there.
This is 1858, and filling the Back Bay has just begun in 1858 in a small way. It's going to take 25 years to complete the process.
Yeah. Well, I think we will have to continue our conversation, and we will have you on that program soon again, and because it's a story that is very rich and wonderful. And I want to thank you, Bill, and I want to make sure that that you are aware that these new books are out, Allston, Brighton in Transition, and the other one, Boston Miscellany, are just out, and they will be on our website available. And I want to thank you, and I hope you'll join us again for the show, the Charles River Parkland show, and enjoy the Parklands, enjoy the Charles River Parklands. They're all yours, and good night.